Hey, my name is Dave Byers, and I'm going to talk about songwriting today, one of my favorite subjects. I've got some other videos on the subject, so I hope you check them out as well. These tips are going to come to you from my book called Songwriting Fundamentals that I hope you get. We've sold just a bunch of copies worldwide for the last decade or so. It's $14.99, but right now it's yours for half price if you use the code SAVE at this website below. So these tips are going to be kind of condensed because of video, but they're expanded on, and there's so many more tips that I want to share with you in the book. So I hope you consider getting that book. But today we're going to talk about mapping out your songs. So if you were going to go from New York to LA, you would typically look at some kind of map on your phone or whatever the case is. The other option is just taking every road that heads west, right? And just hoping at some point you get to California and then figure out your way to Los Angeles looking for signs, I guess. You know, it could work, but you're probably going to take the long way there. Mapping out your songs is a concept that I figured out over many years, and I've written many bad songs, as well, because I found myself, let me give you an example. I write line 1, line 2, line 3, and then here I am with the last line of my verse or my chorus. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I just wrote myself into a corner. Because now I got to rhyme to this word from line 3, and instead of my song making sense, here I am stuck trying to rhyme to this other word, So if you map out your songs, it's going to flow so much better. For instance, let me give you an example. If you map out the song and you go, okay, here's what I want to happen in general. This is the story, and this is what I want to happen in verse 1. Here's what the chorus is going to be about. Here's my hook. And then verse 2, I'm going to expand on the story some more, and here's where all that is. And then I'm going to have a bridge, and we're going to talk about this, and then I'm going to come back to the chorus and then end. Now you know exactly what's going to happen. So you can go to that verse 1, verse 2, or whatever, and it makes sense. So even more in depth, you can go to that verse. And instead of writing your lines 1, 2, 3, 4, for instance, just as an example of a 4-line verse, you write line 1 and then write line 4. Why? Because those are the first line and the last line of every section are always the most important lines. Write your first line and your last line first. And you've already mapped out what you're going to say in general, but you've written the first line and the last line with the best words that you can use. So then you write your inner lines, line 2, line 3, whatever your rhyme scheme is and everything there, you match that all up. But now you're not stuck rhyming to some oddball word. You've said the coolest thing, the best way you know how, in the first line and the last line, which is exactly what the listener wants to hear. They don't want to hear your great lines in the middle of the verse. They want to hear them as a punchline. Someone telling jokes doesn't tell the punchline in the middle of the joke. They tell the punchline at the end of the joke, right? Because there's the end of the story. The end, kind of thing. So we draw in their interest with line 1. We give them the punchline in line 4. So because we're mapping out our songs, it's so much easier to do it that way. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the different phases. So often we get into the inspiration phase, and what I mean by that is where the inspiration occurred. All of a sudden you have this great idea for a song, and then what we do is we sometimes start writing it right then. Don't write the song right then. Just get all that inspiration out. Get all those cool lines. Just type it out, write it out on your phone, whatever your piece of paper, whatever the case is. But get all those cool thoughts in your head out, written down, so that you can come back to them later. If you've got a melody in your head, sing it into your phone. Play it on your guitar and play that cool guitar riff into your phone and record all that stuff. Play everything that comes to your head. And sometimes this might end after 15 minutes. Maybe it ends after an hour or two, or maybe it takes a couple days because this inspiration is just flowing all through you. Don't slow down and try to rhyme words and make sense of the song yet. Don't worry about any of that. Don't even worry about hooks and stuff like that, verses and bridges and all that stuff. Just get everything out. Inspiration phase, get it out. So now that it's out, once you feel that, okay, I've got all my thoughts of this idea out of me. So then I want you to start organizing it. Start thinking about it as a song. Find the hook. The hook, as we talked about in another video that I mentioned, is everything. It's got to be your Another One Bites the Dust, your Sweet Home Alabama, whatever it is that's sung so often that imprinted into someone's brain. That's the part that's going to be your title. It's, again, normally 2 to 5 words roughly. And once we have the hook, then we want to think of a chorus that surrounds that. Look throughout all the stuff that you wrote down. Look for cool lines that would go well in a song, you know. Look for cool words that you wanted to use in there. Make some sense of the song. How would this song start? Where would my verse 1 be? How can I explain the story and pull them in? Maybe even with line 1 especially, pull them in, get them interested right off at the bat to the song. I don't want to tell them everything, but I want to get their interest. And then it unfolds a little bit, and then bam, we hit them with the chorus. All right, and now they've got the hook in their head, they're excited about the song, they're interested in the song, and then we hit them with verse 2, and we progress the story, we expand on it some more, we give them some more details, bam, we hit them with the chorus again and the hook. And then we go into a bridge and we surprise them, or we sum it all up, you know, or whatever the case is. So we've mapped out our song, and we haven't gotten into the way of anything. We haven't gotten into you know, rhyming or that kind of stuff, and slowed ourselves down when we were all filled up with inspiration. Get the inspiration out, and then later on come back and organize it and start working on it as a craftsman. Like you would, you know, you've got this project and you put it together, and then you start sanding it and polishing it, tweaking it here and there and that kind of stuff. That's when you can really make it a really good song. But my advice to you is map out your songs so that you don't paint yourself into a corner, and then work on inspiration phase first, get it all out, and then organize it. My name is Dave Byers. I want you to check out the video that I have that talks about songwriting in general, rhyming, and other stuff like that. But more importantly, I want you to grab a hold of this book that I wrote. It's a lifetime of ideas and thoughts and realizations on songwriting. It's normally $14.99. It's yours for half price with shipping. Go figure. So for less than $10, you've got my lifetime of learning on songwriting in your hands. So I hope it helps you, and I hope you benefit from it, and I hope you enjoy it, and it helps you write better songs. My name is Dave Byers. Take care, and thanks for listening.